Everybody, there's Mr. Bear. He is our quarantine victim. So there's various setups for various people in various homes. I'm just going to walk you through what I would do if I wanted to quarantine myself or Kitty from each other in our home. So I would be living downstairs and everybody infected would be upstairs. So I'll show you it, but a whole bunch of plastic sheeting. A plastic sheet would go right here and it would be sealed and it would have a slit in it. So I would not be infected and I would walk through the slit. I would then have the similar thing here, okay, and here. So this is kind of like a clean ante-room where I am right now. So what I would have, there it is. I'd want a taller table and I want a bin here for clean garbage. And obviously the thing that's lacking on there is of course gloves, which I would want. So again, there's plastic tape here, sealed, double folded over, tacked down and duct taped down. Same here and same here to contain the air spread. When I come into this ante-room, I clean it all down after putting the N95 on. And then do the hand washing and do the rest of the stuff. When I move through the slit, I have to go through another slit to get to the room with the patient. And there he is. He's not looking very well. Mr. Bear, are you alive? Now one of the things you need to do is pet Mr. Bear. But you also need to have a good look in any of the rooms you're going to use for quarantine, either as an antechamber or as a toilet or as the living room. And you want to strip it down because you want to go in there and you want to bleach it down, Virox the surfaces down at least once every 12 hours, maybe even more often. You don't want any clutter in there. You want all the linen kept in this room. When the linen is discarded, you want to bag it in this room, and then you want to double bag it in the antechamber before you take it outside to decontaminate it, preferably leaving it a while. Now somebody that's got a really bad temperature and they can take Tylenol and aspirin safely, I would do both, and I'd give 1 or 2 of those tablets every 2 hours, varying it, so they're getting 1 or 2 tablets of Tylenol every 4 hours and 1 or 2 tablets of aspirin every 4 hours. You want to pile the Gatorade into them, you want to monitor their temperature and their pulse, the oximeter if you have it, and you really want to keep good care of them. You want to write all this stuff down, how often you turn them, how often you make them cough. Encourage them to lie face down and pound on their chest like I showed before, and I'll do again. Using cupping to try and loosen any secretions there. Bearing in mind, with this type of a viral pneumonia, there shouldn't be any secretions. If there's any dark green phlegm, blood tinged phlegm coming up, any consolidation, you can't hear air entry, you want to start them on a bacterial antibiotic for pneumonia. And there's 3 or 4 main ones of them, and you can look them up. I've done videos on that, you know. You shouldn't treat yourself at home, you should only take stuff under doctor's advice, etc. One of the things we have lots of is these, right? Single-use fragrance-free wipes. They're very useful to clean people. You'll be doing a lot of hygiene here because you want to keep the sweat off them, you want to make them feel better. The other thing is pillows. The bear is in a terrible position for somebody with a chest infection, viral or bacterial. You want to sit them up at about 45 degrees minimum, but you also want to turn them every half an hour to 2 hours to get them off their bum so they don't get a pressure ulcer, which is literally the skin dies whether it's touching the bed sheets. And you want to make this set up so you can handle it easily and do a good job. So I've come through this side and I'm clean. This side is going to be slightly clean. So one of the things I would do before I do anything else is I would bleach down the inside of the 3 clean rooms. I would have a ton of supplies up here because I might have to spend a lot of time up here gowned up if the person's very ill. Now you want to have a lot of plastic sheeting like this. I have a lot of it. The principal use of that is for greenhouses, for an SHTF, but this type of SHTF, I'm not building greenhouses because I have to work. And I would use duct tape and tacks to put this up in the door frames. I wouldn't use tape or painter's tape. I would use duct tape and tacks. And I would double fold this on the edges so that it's more strong. Always have a lot of trash bags. You may not have the space that we have, you may not have 2 toilets. That's why I showed the luggable loo in one of the videos. If at all possible, the person who's infected gets the ceramic toilet, okay? You want to make it so they don't fall and things are easy for them. And they're going to be in bed a lot. So one of the things you want to avoid is coming upstairs. So me and Kitty a while ago got ourselves a pair of these. Simply and easily used, can be recharged with the BioLite, and you can make good comms with these and they can let you know. Now the last time I used these they were fully charged. Now they're completely not charged, which is kind of annoying. So I will charge them up again. Always check your preps. Generally speaking, the battery life's good, and it's great because Kitty's not great at using radios, but she can hit the call button on and off, and I know she needs me. This is one of the things I bought for the pandemic. It's a vaporizer vapeur tiède, which for those of you who don't speak French is actually a warm mist vaporizer. So you can put a bit of eucalyptus oil in or whatever into the top of this and it will puff out warmish moist air. Moist warm air typically is good to reduce viral replication in the air. It turns out I'm not sure it's going to work at all for COVID-19 disease, but it was a good idea. But certainly the added humidification might make breathing easier for the person who's having respiratory trouble. So when you've finished, you got a couple of options depending. If you've got very limited space, you're going to have to take everything off in this room apart from the N95. And then you would exit. What I would do is I would actually exit through here, through one set of plastic, so I have this other sheet here keeping me away from the sterile anteroom. I'm then actually going to walk into the bathroom. Again, the bathrooms have to be empty as possible. I would even remove things like shower curtains and old towels. You can have a pile of towels in a box. You don't want anything getting any viral load on it whatsoever. And I would actually use the sink to wash my hands, and then of course I have hand cream to help with my fingers, because I only have one finger now that is contaminated, and that's what I would do. Having washed my hands, took the gloves off, disposed of them in a sealed container, washed my hands, what I'm next going to do is go back through the plastic drapes. Remember, you want to bleach everything down and discard of the actual N95 into a sealed container here, which, because this is an ongoing emergency and this is not business normal, I have to keep the N95s. And you can see my N95s toasting in the sun from work. So that's where I'd put the N95 probably. Straight into that box, or a separate box there. So mostly I probably wouldn't use sealed goggles for Kitty, because like I said, I figure if Kitty gets it, I've already been exposed, and vice versa. But swim goggles work, and very effective for sealing, and ordinary construction ones with the little holes in are better, because they're easier to put over normal glasses. But I find even blind people like me, if I have swim goggles on, I can see reasonably well. Your purposes should have good supplies of toilet roll and linens, because you're not going to be able to wash very often, and all the washing is going to be very, very dangerous, okay? Everything that goes through this plastic barrier is contaminated and will be stored in the bathroom area or in the bedroom where the person is, in boxes, for as long as I need it to be stored. If I have to bring linens out, I put them in a plastic bag, seal it tight in the room, and then put it into a second plastic bag outside in this anteroom, and then take it downstairs for disposal or for cleaning. So that bears in mind, why do I need these two extra rooms up here? Well, one, I might sleep in if Kitty's really that sick, but it also gives me space when I'm not in the process of trying to get the house moving to actually put stuff in here that can actually be used for the person, but I don't want it to be contaminated. So like if I've got a huge big supply of medications and stuff like that, and Gatorade powders, a whole bunch of stuff, so I would have the spare stuff up here. So if I am up here, I can quickly take the plastic gown off and the gloves off, wash my hands, come out, quickly grab what I need, put the gown back on, the gloves back on, pick up the thing and go back in with it, leaving the N95 on at all times. The N95 should not be touched. And like I say, so I'd have plastic drapes here, 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 and here. I don't think I'd go with the toilet, I don't think there's a need for that, but you could consider that. And like I say, turn them over, duct tape them, tack them up. I'm not going to do it because we've just had a house painted, but I would if I had to. And that allows me to move in and out of the area by going through the slit in the plastic, rather than having air moving from doors. It's the air movement I want to cut down on. I can't make true negative pressure. I guess there's some people out there that think they can, maybe you can if you're smart at it with small fans, but I'm tending not to use fans for this. So this is why we have the portable air conditioner. Whilst we have electricity, I can at least keep them cool if I have to. The Pandemic 2019 series, because I actually did more of a setup for that. I actually wore gear for that, so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of lifter pads and stuff. But I'm not going to focus on cupping and chest physio and positioning in bed and cleaning in bed and all that sort of stuff, probably for a week or two, because I actually want to show it, because talking about it doesn't work that well. And I'm kind of happy showing you my quarantine setup, because it isn't going to be set up, right? I hope, because I don't want to get sick, and nor does Kitty. And if we do, we might not go full hog barrier nursing each other. We might just wear N95s and gloves, to be honest, because like I say, we travel in the car. It's highly unlikely that she would have the infection and I wouldn't have it, or I wouldn't have been exposed. But this is certainly something I would seriously set up for visitors or family that I wanted to treat in a pandemic or an infection scenario. My mode of operandi would be to use the garage. At the Shire we have a separate heated building, which would be ideal for this. But you have to deal with what you deal with. If you have an open plan small condo with one tiny little toilet in it, I really would recommend a plastic bucket or a luggable loo for the non-infected person. Try and keep the washroom only for the sick person. Now in terms of the sink, she won't be using the sink. She'll be using water in a bowl, and then it'll be poured down the toilet, seat put on it, cover put on it, and then it will be flushed just as I leave. And I'll be holding my breath for that, because toilets do aerosol things. So do running taps. Now you can also set it up in the basement. I have a toilet and a full shower down there. The reason I don't is mostly the stairwell. I think it would be a lot easier to get a person down the stairs than it would be to get them up the stairs. I also don't have any natural anteroom downstairs, and I think having the anteroom separate from the bedroom with a separate toilet that Kitty would use for the bath, and I would put her in the bath often while I could do it, and the toilet's a great idea. But like I said, I'll keep the sink for myself, my own hand washing, because I think that's the priority. What, Becky? What do you want? Say hi, Becky. Say hi. You going up? Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. She's actually quite capable of getting up the stairs, but I think her mind's gone. Will she do it or will she not? I don't know, you need some treats, don't you? Blueberry biscuit treats. Come on, Becky, treat, treat. Hi Becky, my little deaf dog. This was a very low energy Bad Terrier production, 2020.